All right, this is a special Swampy Sports podcast. I am joined here with my brother, JD Marsh.
What's going on, y'all?
And we are going to talk about, I know I did this last year by myself, but I love talking to other people about this, get their input. If you watched our NFL podcast, toward the end of it, we got really into it, and then out of nowhere, I decided we're going to make this podcast. We're going to talk about what the Cowboys should do with Dak Prescott, Tony Romo, even Dez Bryant, and how everything what we think the Cowboys should do for everything to work out. So let's go ahead and talk about that. And let's start off with how well Dak Prescott is playing this year with, I guess you can say, the scrutiny of, I feel it's 50-50 across the country, not in Dallas and around our area, of Romo should start because he's a veteran, but Dak's killing it right now, but he's a rookie type of thing. So what do you think the Cowboys should do when Romo is healthy, who has not been cleared to practice yet, but should have by now?
Now, all right, you in our NFL podcast, you were talking about how you think that Dallas should trade Romo to the Browns. And I believe that Romo is going to have something to say if he is going to get traded, where he wants to go. And I believe that the team that's going to go the hardest to try to get Romo will be the Denver Broncos. That is a huge rumor going around that he will end up in Denver if he decides to get traded.
That would be a great place for him.
That would be a great
fragile body.
Yeah, that would be a great place for him. I think that would be great because Denver would give up their probably this year's first round pick and next year's first round pick for Romo to get a veteran quarterback in there to try to repeat as Super Bowl champions. And to do with Dez, I believe that they need to trade him to, like you said, Cleveland would be a great fit for him. Get Josh Gordon, bring him back next year, and a couple of draft picks. That'd be great. I believe that they need to get Dez out of the locker room because right now he is on the downhill like how Calvin Johnson was right before he retired last year, where he's always getting hurt, and he's kind of a loudmouth, and I feel like he's a distraction in the locker room from that team effort and bonding. And I believe if you take that away and keep what's going right now, not just having to always throw to him and just keep the ball moving around, and it's going to be very difficult to stop that Dallas offense. So I believe it is the best interest to trade Romo and Dez.
Okay, well, I'm fine if the Cowboys don't trade Dez Bryant because I'm not sure he's throwing a little pissy fit, at least not in the media's face. He's not getting the ball as much because Prescott is spreading the ball around and they're winning. But he has been injured. So if they don't trade him, that's fine. But I think definitely okay, but what I wanted to ask you was I said that, if the Cowboys wanted to be smart about it, which I think Romo, like you said, has earned his right to say where he wants to go.
Yeah.
But if they wanted to be smart about it, but not do, not let Romo say, I would say that they trade him to the Browns to,
that's where they would get the most value out of it.
Because if you're going to get picks, you want to get it from a team that's going to be very high up there. Right now, they are the number one overall pick, but they would not give up the number one overall pick. But they would give up probably third, fourth, maybe even a second round pick. But then also, if you don't trade Dez Bryant, you still might be able to get Josh Gordon, or even I don't know if they give up Corey Coleman, who first year is already injured. But the Browns want to get rid of Josh Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he's not damaged goods. I think he's just a guy who you could tell really is trying to do right for himself now. Because he was able to come back looking great in the preseason, looking great in practice. Then he decided to go to rehab to make sure. This is what he said. He said he wanted to make sure he'd be at the top of his game when he gets back.
Yep.
Which means he wasn't fully ready to go in his own mind.
High respect for that dude.
Which I think is a very good thing to see from him. And you get him out of that crappy town of Cleveland, I think, to where there's never been anything good coming from Cleveland, from the media. They make it seem like everybody on Cleveland is awful. They, with Manziel, yes, I think the media is the reason Manziel fell off the grid and is doing awful. I think the same thing for Josh Gordon. They're just pounding them and making it look like everything is just going wrong for the Browns and those specific people. So, but if like I said, if Gordon comes to the Cowboys, I think he's starting to be humble himself, but he would still get a lot of touches. But if Dak stays there and continues doing what he's doing, spreading the ball out, not forcing passes downfield, and just keep checking down, finding the open receiver, and using his legs to create extra time, I think that Josh Gordon would be a huge risk because of liability issues.
Yeah.
You could tell that he's not responsible for his actions in the past, but I guess it's a step forward of admitting yourself into rehab, basically saying, I didn't want to get in, and I heard it as he kind of took one for the team, saying he doesn't want his team to put him in when he's not ready.
Yeah. And
basically make them worse. So, which I don't think is possible. But I think that would be a good fit. But another thing I think the Cowboys, Jason Garrett and Jerry Jones need to do is pull a New England Patriots move.
I've been saying that since Romo got hurt and watching Dak in those couple preseason games. I know it's preseason. It was preseason, but I made the call and I said if Dak continues to play this way and progress to get better and better, that I called that the Cowboys would pull a New England Patriots and keep Dak as the starting quarterback and trade Romo.
Yeah, but what I'm saying about that is the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick don't give a flying crap who you are.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Ochocinco, Randy Moss. I know Randy Moss, he retired with the Patriots, right?
No.
He didn't? Okay, well, basically, they got rid of him. They don't care who he is. He is a Hall of Famer. They don't care. Darrelle Revis, a Hall of Famer. One of the best cornerbacks to play.
Revis just left.
Yeah, but still, they didn't try to fight for him.
Nope, because we got people that will.
Exactly. They know, they trust the process.
We got Malcolm Butler.
But this is what they need to do. They don't need to care about how much money someone's getting. They don't need to care how much money they've invested in this guy and how much, maybe, 'cause I think Tony Romo is like married into Jerry Jones' family or something like that.
It's his, I think it's his granddaughter.
Something like that.
Something.
Who you cannot give a crap about that. This is the NFL. This is the National Football League. This is not Family League.
Yep.
See what I did there? But so you cannot sit there. You gotta. If you're Jerry Jones and you sit there and you tell everybody you want to win a Super Bowl, but you're gonna sit there and keep Tony Romo because he's married to your granddaughter, you're not gonna win because he's gonna keep getting hurt.
Yeah, I mean, but yes, the guy's making.
But when you have these people like Dak Prescott, who, well, most likely, at least what we see now, be like a Russell Wilson and take a smaller contract. Of course, he's going to want to make some big money, but he's not going to take like I guess you can say an Andrew Luck contract with basically $7 million guaranteed or a Brock Osweiler contract and not let the team get built around you to win because he wants to win. He loves the game of football, and as you can tell with the endorsement deals, he doesn't give a flying crap about the money right now. So pull the Patriots. Don't give a crap what's going on with their life. In their life, everybody has problems. Even these superstar athletes with all these monies, they have family problems. They have stuff like that. But this is the National Football League. It's a business. You're in it to win it. And you cannot let these things hold you down. And, if you have a coach, Jason Garrett reminds me of Bill Belichick with the way he's kind of in press conferences. He doesn't get very emotional. Bill Belichick doesn't get anything. He just, yeah. Well,
we're on Cincinnati.
We're on Cincinnati. We don't want to talk about the last game. Basically, he reminds me of that.
Have you noticed that a lot more NFL coaches are turning into that?
Oh, of course, because it's basically he is a culture changing coach. Because before that, whenever he started getting big, you had freaking Jim Moore playoffs freaking out. You had dude from the Chiefs. Who was that? Dennis Green, I think it was.
It was the Cardinals.
Oh, Cardinals.
We let him off the hook.
Yeah, you had people freaking out at not podcast, interviews, press conferences, and then you have these coaches who basically want the superstar players on their team, or owners who want superstar players on their team. Then you have Robert Kraft, who is building a team with third, fourth, fifth, sixth round draft picks. And I guess you can say outcast with, I wouldn't be shocked if Josh Norman goes to the Patriots. I'm not Josh Norman, Josh Gordon. Because you got Le'Veon Bell, someone who had a problem with marijuana, always getting suspended.
That was Blunt.
What did I say?
Le'Veon Bell.
Oh, that's what I meant. Yeah, I meant Garrett Blunt. The same dude who punched Boise State player in the face in college when he was at Oregon. And basically, nobody wanted him, and the Patriots pick him up, and now he's probably top 10 running back in the league. Scoring touchdowns. Very important in that passing game of the Patriots. Then you had Darrelle Revis, someone who was a very like an awful person in the locker room. Kind of calmed him down for a year or two. Got a Super Bowl out of him, and just when he wanted to leave and go be himself, you're just like, all right, we got what we wanted. You get out of here. We don't care. We can replace you
with Malcolm Butler.
Exactly. So we don't want these big name players. We want the right players, and I feel like the Cowboys are starting to turn to that. And I think this is the type of situation to see if that's actually going to happen. I'm very anxious to see what they do this offseason. I don't think they'll trade him this season, but in the offseason, we'll see how it has to go, because we have to see. Because I think they put Romo in just to see how he does, and then they'll do that. But I think if they do that, they could lose their playoff hopes.
I think if they're going to do that, it's going to be how like Denver did last year with Peyton Manning. Bring him in the last week of the second half of the game, where get his feet wet for the playoffs. And then, honestly, I believe if they do that, they're throwing their chances to win a Super Bowl down the drain.
Because Prescott's come out and said, this is Romo's team. This is Tony's team.
Prescott doesn't care. He just wants to win. He wants to do everything he can to help the team.
And he already knows that once Romo's done in a year or two, that he's got the starting job. I don't think he's leaving. He loves it in Dallas. You can just tell.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, though, if they take him out, when he is killing it right now. If you take him out, like you were saying in our info podcast, you think he's what, number 2 on the MVP list right now?
Right now, he's number 2 on my MVP list.
And don't think that they sit there. Don't think that Dak Prescott's like, I don't want to make this, comparison, but. Don't act like he's sitting there acting like Jesus would act, sitting there, thinking of others before himself. Because you can't sit there and tell me that he's not at home or on his phone seeing stuff about him and sitting there thinking to himself, well, I'm playing really well. Why wouldn't I get the starting position? And if they take him out, don't you think he'd be a little bit hurt? Just a little bit? But he would understand.
That is human nature.
He would understand why he got taken out. But also, he wouldn't understand it as well, but he's not going to make a huge deal about it. I think he'll stay in Dallas, but I think Romo will stay in Dallas until the offseason, because I think if they did something like this, it actually might break the focus of the Cowboys of what they're doing right now. But if Tony Romo,
I would have to disagree with that. If they were to trade Romo, I think it would stay the same. I think if you bring Romo in right now, you break that focus.
But here's another thing. Tony Romo's a team captain, right? He's a team captain of the Cowboys. If you're going to be a captain of this team, would you take a seat on the bench and say, we're doing all right? I'll say if they start to have a little downfall, I'm ready to go back in.
Yeah, that's what I would think. As a team captain, you would not want to break up that focus. Exactly. And that team chemistry they have, and you are there as a probably, what would you say, one of the greatest backups of all time, a safety net for what if Dak gets hurt, or what if Dak starts to play not what we've seen him play so far? Would you consider him
Well, yeah, that, and also, it's not like you're going to get paid any less, Tony.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm very anxious to see how this all works out.
And
because we all know Jerry Jones loves the media press.
Oh, yes.
So I think he's going to gut this out as much as he can, which is worrying me about the Cowboys. Which I think he'll put Tony Romo in, because if they put Tony Romo in, people are going to tune in more. More people would watch just to see how he does, see if he's better than Dak. And then people will start talking about it. Jerry Jones' name will pop up more. Cowboys will pop up more. But they are already the most valuable franchise in the NFL.
They are the number 2 or 3 most valuable franchise in all of professional sports. That is including soccer.
Yes, I know that. And so
let me point something out to you, Dylan. Jerry, you want to know what catches Jerry's eye? Money.
Exactly.
Okay? Yes, he is paying Tony a lot of, what is it, $22 million to sit on the bench right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And so, which I wouldn't think Tony would have a problem with.
I'm telling you this right now. He is making that a week from all the product he is selling of Dak jerseys and Cowboy products from how well his team is succeeding.
Well, I'll go ahead and tell you this. In Dallas, I think if, like, when I was in Dallas and I talked to a bunch of fans when I was down there. You know this about me. I'm a very outgoing person. I will talk to anybody I see if they want to have a conversation. And almost every fan I talk to, I would tell them, yeah, I'm from where Dak Prescott grew up. So I would sit there and say, what do you think? What do you want? And every single, like, the taxi driver I was with, as weird as he was like, no, he's like, Tony, we can't have Tony come back because Dak is showing that he plays so much better than Tony does. And the fans want him to play, which makes me think if Tony comes in, what are they going to say about Jerry Jones? If, we've seen fans that don't like their owners, right? Very seldom does it happen, but when it does happen, the team somewhat collapses, I guess you could say. Because if you think about it like this, you have the fans right here, then you have the team, which is connecting the fans to the owner, and then the team's connecting the owner to the fans. And so with them being in the middle, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to collapse on top of them.
Yep.
And it's going to basically, because you hear them say all the time, the reason we play, the reason we do all this is because of our fans.
Yeah. If they don't have fans,
if they don't have fans, and they have pressure from their fans to play great whenever, say, if Jerry Jones took away what was making them play great, I think, I just don't, like I said, I'm very anxious to see how it's going to work out. But this has been the Swampy Sports Podcast of the Dallas Cowboys and what we think should happen. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, God bless.
Right on.